Good evening, and welcome to the commencement ceremony of the Gettysburg Area High School Class of 2021. If you're able, please join me in standing for our national anthem, played by Aya Sato, followed by our school's alma mater, sung by Jenna Brazy. Our colors are presented tonight by our high school's JROTC Warrior Battalion.
Oh, Gettysburg, maroon and white, all hail to you. We pledge to thee our loyalty, our alma mater true. When school days end and years go by, all fond and faithful be. Oh, Gettysburg, maroon and white, all honor be to thee.
Thank you. You may be seated. Our first speaker tonight is a lifelong friend of mine. She's a multi-sport athlete and a scholarly student. She's someone who's always willing to lend a hand. Trust me, she's helped me with a lot of homework. She's a determined, dedicated, and driven student. Please welcome tonight's first speaker, Natalie Closter.
Good evening, and welcome to Warriors Stadium. It is hard to believe that I'm standing in front of you this evening at graduation. There have been many times throughout this school year when I thought that the concept and production of an in-person graduation would be impossible. Throughout this year, we went to school thinking that today could potentially be the last day of school, with a threat of shutdowns and closures looming over our heads every day. But today, I couldn't be more grateful to finally see all of my classmates together again, which is something that I easily took for granted just a little over a year ago. What an absolutely crazy ride this high school experience has been, but I can genuinely say that I would not want to do this with any other group of amazing classmates. We all stuck together and supported each other through every challenge that was thrown at us, and responded with cooperation and grace. So I thank the class of 2021 for working hard and persevering through the struggles of online and hybrid school so that you can be here today as soon-to-be graduates of Gettysburg Area High School. And to all of those who are sitting in the stands or watching at home, I thank you for believing in every one of us throughout this journey so that we can be here tonight. I know that it couldn't possibly have been easy for you to motivate and encourage a high school senior to do online and in-person work, knowing that they are going to graduate in just a few short months. I can personally say that there were definitely times where I struggled to get out of my cozy bed to log on to Zooms early on Friday mornings or find the motivation to complete schoolwork that wasn't really due until the end of the week. I think that I can say on behalf of my classmates that senioritis is a true phenomenon that is extremely difficult to overcome. I want to encourage all of you to continue to have the same grit and perseverance that you showed this past year in your future endeavors, whether that be college, a trade school, the military, or entering into the workforce. And with these remarks, I would like to formally welcome all of you, parents, guardians, friends, family, and soon-to-be former students to the Gettysburg Area High School Class of 2021 commencement ceremony.
The student choice speaker this evening is a very involved student. He is an ambassador for new students, he is an accomplished athlete, and is committed to serving the community. I would now like to introduce the student choice speaker, Sam Dowds.
I live for those who love me, whose hearts are kind and true. For heaven that smiles above me and waits my spirit too. For all the ties that bind me, for all the tasks assigned me, and bright hopes left behind me, and good that I can do. I live for those who love me, whose hearts are kind and true. For heaven that smiles above me and waits my spirit too. For the cause that lacks assistance, for the wrong that needs resistance, for the future in the distance, and the good that I can do. I read this poem by George Linnaeus Banks for the first time freshman year. I found it for a 9th grade English project. To practice public speaking, we each chose a poem and had to recite it at the front of the class. At the time, I was about 3 to 4 inches shorter, which is not saying much because I'm not exactly Shaq now, and my voice was a good bit higher. I was a freshman guy, and I lived up to every bit of awkwardness that being a freshman guy entails. But this poem meant something to me. So I stood up, and I stumbled through it in front of everybody. 4 years later, this poem still means a lot. I live for those who love me, whose hearts are kind and true. Begins Banks. Please take a moment to look to your left and right, then down along the rows and across the field. As I look out on lifelong friends, family members, and faculty who changed my life, I cannot help but to agree with him. In the past year, we've all been forced to put some serious thought into what we value, what our priorities are, and what we believe to be most important. In speaking with classmates and other members of our community, many of us concluded that life is about relationships. The joy that we get out of being around one another, engaging, conversing, and laughing is unlike anything else. It's part of the reason why this past year was such a challenge. We live for those who love us. When considering these opening two lines, my mind also jumps to the old adage that states, "It takes a village to raise a child." It makes me smile to think about the number of meals that each of us have had a chance to share with one another, the carpools, the last-minute favors, the late nights, the early mornings, the sacrifices that each family here tonight has made to see others succeed. On top of that, the devotion, passion, and love that Gettysburg teachers and administrators demonstrated time and time again over the past 4 years. I can think of few truer and kinder hearts than the ones sitting around us in this stadium tonight. The poem continues, "For all the ties that bind me, for all the tasks assigned me, and bright hopes left behind me, and good that I can do." In many ways, our time in high school will be defined by the adversity that we endured. We matured in an age of sharp political division, pressing existential issues, and maybe most obviously an unprecedented pandemic. In reviewing our high school careers, ties and tasks abound. Over and over, these challenges threaten to prevent us from achieving our goals, from realizing our ambitions, and yet, here we are. To call us students of the School of Hard Knocks is an understatement. If we must have a label, I would much prefer something like Masters of Misfortune, Captains of Calamity, or Attachés of Affliction. Take your pick. We persevered. For parents, faculty, and students alike, our wills prove stronger than the Pennsylvania iron that sits beneath our feet. Our minds move more quickly than a virus can spread, and our passion for helping for one another pulled us together even while we were kept apart. And the truth is, we're better for having done it. Adversity is valuable. We would much rather get better and make progress while looking upwards and asking why during my life must these hard times take place than grow arrogant and complacent in our contentedness. The skills that we've developed during the past 4 years will enable us to find success along life's future paths. Because of the challenges that we have conquered, we are more thoughtful, compassionate, gritty, self-reliant, resilient. This past year sucked, and yet because we persisted, there's so much more good that we can do. For the cause that lacks assistance, as graduates, as recipients of a quality education, we are now well suited to go make a difference. Every day, noble causes thrive or die because of the support from people like us. Climate change, COVID, economic disparity, our political polarity, these are all real issues that are not going away. As we take this next step into the world, we have a responsibility to be active parts of the solution, to aid the important movements that lack assistance. For the wrong that needs resistance, there's no shortage of darkness that will try to stop us in our pursuit of progress. I think this line serves as a reminder that achievement, that doing the right thing, is not for the faint of heart. Doing the wrong thing can be quite easy. It's easy to prey on people's fears, to trick them to fall victim to the allure of corruption. But as people of character, as educated members of this community, we are empowered to do what is right, to escape the stranglehold of selfishness, to beat back immorality, to resist the wrong. For the future in the distance and the good that I can do. Today is about the investment that this community has made in us and the profound gratitude that we have for one another. This community, this place, these people, our friends, our families, they've improved us mentally, physically, and spiritually. Together, we've spent time learning and growing, informing one another's opinions so that we might see the world a little more clearly. Together, we've been confused and made sense of things, asked questions and found answers, embraced, social distance, laughed, cried. It's been a wonderful journey. Now it's time to go make the world a better place. We live for those who love us, whose hearts are kind and true. For heaven that smiles above us and waits our spirits too. For all the ties that bind us, for all the tasks assigned us, and bright hopes left behind us, and good that we can do. We live for those who love us, whose hearts are kind and true. For heaven that smiles above us and waits our spirits too. For the cause that lacks assistance, for the wrong that needs resistance, for the future in the distance, and the good that we can do. Thank you.
The final student speaker for the night is a classmate who excelled academically. She's an exemplary student who took diverse and challenging courses while also being a talented musician. Please welcome the valedictorian of the Gettysburg Area High School Class of 2021, Aya Sato.
Greetings, and congratulations to the class of 2021. Or maybe congratulations, we still haven't received our diplomas yet. I read this speech to my mom last night, and her only comment was, "This is really long, so brace yourselves for a really boring ride." In tandem with Sam's poem, I'd like to also quote a famous philosopher, poet, and motivational speaker, Ludacris from Justin Bieber's worldwide hit, Baby. He passionately raps these lyrics. "When I was 13, I had my first love. There was nobody that compared to my baby, and nobody came between us, nor could ever come above. She had me going crazy. Oh, I was starstruck. She waked me up daily. Don't need no Starbucks." This first love is clearly a metaphor for Bieber's love of feminist theory, simply personified as a girl. We can thank the brainwashing of the high school English curriculum for that interpretation. And that reference to Starbucks is clearly an allusion to Aiden Connie's coffee addiction. If I'm being honest, I was so overwhelmed by the task of writing this speech that I ended up procrastinating quite a bit. In fact, during one of my moments of active laziness, I was so excited to take a nap, when suddenly, I received a very inspiring text from a friend. It read, "LOL, no one's going to remember your speech." And with these encouraging words, I took that nap. In all seriousness, I put a lot of effort into what I'm going to say today. I even scoured the depths of Reddit to find a generic commencement speech template, a template that I might be following today. So, according to the sketchy Reddit guy, I'm supposed to talk about memories, and rightfully so, because we've gone through a lot these 4 years. First, we have freshman year. While we thought we were finally high school students, the cool kids, everyone else viewed us as idiots, walking around the school with the dorkiest clothing choices. This is not an attack on any incoming freshmen, because I'm sure you all have very awesome wardrobes. I still remember the first time I heard Miss Kaywood's heels clicking through the school hallways, the first time getting lost, and the second, and the third, and the fourth, and the fifth, you get the idea. And the first time hearing, "Go Warriors," on the loudspeaker, first thing in the morning. Next, we have sophomore year, the semi-dorky year compared to freshman year. We spent a whole 12 months in high school at this point, and we're a little wiser, a little stronger, and a little too excited to bully freshmen. Sophomore year is also the year we learned that driving exists. Safety ed was an intellectual roller coaster. We learned so many philosophical concepts, like how to read a traffic light, how to stop at a stop sign, how to not die. Pretty unimportant stuff, in my opinion. Next, junior year. The year we were all hit with a global pandemic of premature senioritis. A difficult year, to say the least, but evidently we didn't flunk out of school. Senior year, here we are, standing in front of our friends, families, teachers, and administration, wearing maroon wizard costumes and super chic Gucci hats. Although we should keep these memories near to our hearts, we can't pick and choose what we remember, because not all of our memories were cute and happy. See, the sketchy Reddit guy also said to include a bit about how our class is unique, how we've become the amazing people in this stadium. And I can see why. As Sam mentioned, our class has persevered through so many obstacles that we deserve more than a simple recollection of our laughable moments. We have so much to be proud of, but I still have one last lingering question. Did we take advantage of the opportunities right there in front of us during our 4 years of high school? I know I could have done better. Here's a typical day in a high school student's life. Wake up in the morning to a blaring alarm clock that just refuses to shut up. Wah, wah, wah. That's the sound of an alarm clock, if you couldn't tell. You know you have to get up, but the sheets are just so warm. You start scrolling through Instagram to wake yourself up, but you glance over to the clock on your phone only to find out that it's already 6:50. Crap, there's no time to eat breakfast. So now you have to go to your first period class on an empty stomach, and that's all you can think about while you're half asleep while driving to school. When you finally get to school, you have to run to your class because you have 2 minutes until the bell rings. But as soon as you get to your seat, you find out there's a unit quiz you didn't study for because you were up late at night writing an essay. After walking through the hallways with a coffee cup in one hand and a calculator in the other, all you want to do is take a nap. But you still have more studying and more homework when you get home. Finally, your day seems to end when you finish a 20-slide PowerPoint, an AP practice FRQ, and 4 pages of math homework. But you have to finish the day off with a daily tradition: revenge, sleep time, procrastination, which is, according to Wikipedia, a phenomenon in which people stay up later than they desire in an attempt to have control over the night, because they perceive themselves to lack influence over events during the day. Such procrastination would be, of course, spent by scrolling through TikTok. This is our default mode, our I don't care mode, the mode that runs most of our daily lives in school because we forget our privilege to have access to learning at all. At the end of the school day, we begin to survive on these almost ungrateful habits. And for a long time, this is what I thought was hard work. To our teachers, thank you for dealing with our grade-obsessed insanity. Here are some of our famous quotes while we ran on our sleep-deprived default mode. Will there be extra caught opportunities? Is this going to be on the test? How many points is this? We rarely, if ever, ask questions about true curiosity. What is justice? How does calculus apply to the rules of nature? Mr. Withers, why haven't you responded to my emails? Because we've lived such privileged, intellectual lives, we forgot to care about learning and began to care about grades, numbers. At least, this was the case for me. In the end, it seemed to pay off. We received a title at the end of each term called Honor Roll or Distinguished Honors, or sometimes it was a bit of a GPA boost. And yes, we worked hard. We spent those late nights studying for that AP chemistry exam. We went from school to sports practice to 4 hours of homework. We made countless flashcards to memorize the seemingly never-ending parts of the cell. Yet, for me, and perhaps for many of my classmates, we worked hard for a grade, not for the genuine love of learning. As we've spent 13 years in the American education system, we've adapted to survive in a world that tries to reduce our years of learning to numbers. While this is the simplest way to construct the system, it often fails to recognize the other population of students also working hard, invisible from the rest of society. The students who have 3 siblings at home and have the responsibility to take care of them every day. The students that can't afford to prioritize grades because they have a parent struggling with stage 3 cancer. The students that frantically run from one job to another right after school because they need to support their family. When do these students get praised if they haven't already fit the cookie-cutter definition of a good student? It's these moments when we open our eyes just a little bit to the larger world, that we realize how grateful we should be to even have the opportunity to receive an education. When we constantly thrive on this default setting, we've missed the opportunity to truly develop our opinions. And with less opinions to contribute to a democracy, we threaten freedom. Now, freedom is typically regarded as YOLO, you only live once. Going to bed at 10:35 instead of 10:30, or wearing seatbelts as a choice instead of a government requirement. And yes, this is freedom. But freedom is also caring about your learning instead of a number. A GPA is a number. That's it. It helps us get jobs, friends, clout. But we should never mistake this metric for happiness or real influence on the world. Although our education system has much to improve on, it's our obligation as students to not let such a system objectify us. We can't remain goody-goody robots that do exactly what society tells us to do. When a specific system oppresses us, we need to fight against it as revolutionaries, as people who care about how and what we learn. We need to escape our default setting. When I was first asked to give this speech, I was asked to share my wisdom. But the thing is, I'm not sure if I really have the authority to share my so-called wise thoughts. What I will say is that the little bit of wisdom I shared with you today came from someone else, and she deserves credit for every word. Recall the typical day of a high school student. The day that starts with waking up to a blaring alarm clock and ends with revenge sleep time procrastination, the default mode. Here's a fun story. On one frigid morning during junior year, I was sitting in English class when I asked my teacher one of my default questions. Is this going to be on the test? Her response was, 1, it's called a reward, not a test, and 2, you're a person, not a number. My immediate thought was, okay, so you didn't answer my question. So I just nodded my head and thought, wow, this teacher is kind of crazy. Little did I know that her words would inspire my words today. After today, many of us will go to college or to work or to other endeavors. And after that, we'll go on to do amazing things with our careers in the future. And it's going to be tempting to fall back to the default mode, the mode that despises learning and takes the easy way out. Although we may never escape the objectification of a greater materialistic system, we have a duty to ourselves and future generations to fight for our freedom. When we do, it's going to be difficult, and we're probably going to look ugly while doing it. But to make you feel better, I'd like to quote my friend Ludacris one last time. Quote, I find myself eating different kinds of chicken each and every day, even if it's by surprise. Thank you. Go Warriors.
First, I'd like to commend Connor, Natalie, Sam, and Aya. Your speaking ability is beyond compare. I hope my speech is equally as boring. And I do think it might be shorter, not that Mrs. K. Wood is going to be timing me or anything. Good evening. I'm Jeremy Lusk. Despite and because of the many challenges that we have faced this past year as a school community, I've never felt more privileged to serve this community as principal of the Gettysburg Area High School. I'm incredibly proud of the students united on the field before us. Tonight, we celebrate them, the class of 2021. With your parents, family, supporters here tonight, it should be evident that we care. Thank you to our board of school directors. Your support for students, above all else, is a must. Dr. Perrin, Dr. Lay, and every one of our district's leaders, your work and dedication to the children of this community makes this possible. Thank you to my partners, Mrs. Kaywood, Mr. Rupp. Your contributions to our team's mission are beyond my words. I'm lucky to lead with you. You are indeed the best. Teachers and all other school staff members, you've responded to this moment like the heroes that you are. You're champions for students, and your influences and inspirations have molded the champions of our future. You have been called to do the things that many cannot understand, while all too often with insufficient thanks. I've noticed, and I commend you. More personally, thank you to Renee and my family for supporting a life that quite often focuses on supporting others. You understand and support me, and I love you for that. And you know that my work is more than just work to me. Parents, I've experienced your role too. As the father of four, I understand schooling over the past year at a variety of levels. From high school to elementary, I understand closures and remote learning at a moment's notice. I understand the consequences of close contact notifications and follow-up COVID testing. And I understand the past 15 months with my soon-to-be graduate from the class of 2021, as I look forward to his commencement 1 week from today. Our world as parents has not been easy. Thank you for supporting these students to the finish line. Our collective efforts have allowed us to come together to reward the achievements of Gettysburg Area High School's class of 2021. Absolutely. Cheer louder, please. While we celebrate all of these students, each with a different story, each with a different pathway to his diploma, his or her diploma, it's important to highlight a particular group of students. They're listed on the center panel of your program. Here, you'll see the names of students identified as our Scholastic Honor Group. The laude designation is Latin and means honor. Cum laude means with honor and reserved at Gettysburg for those who graduate in the top 10% of their class. Magna cum laude means with high honor and is for those who graduate in the top 5% of their class. And finally, you'll see 5 of our students graduating summa cum laude with highest honor. These students have finished in the top 2% of their class. Along with their diplomas, these students will receive medals for their accomplishments. Our high school is blessed with opportunities of all types, from AP to agriculture, from biology to badminton, from chemistry to culinary. Our offerings allow for each student to develop their interest and grow in the direction of tomorrow. The academic culture here at Gettysburg has pushed not only those at the top of the class, but every single one of these students has earned their way, the Warrior way. We've asked you to be here, be involved, be committed, be kind. What does that really mean? What does it mean now? Be here. Where? Be here. Grounded. Focused on the moment right in front of you. Matters most. Be involved. How? Be involved in your community. Wherever your community becomes, allow your unique creativity to make a difference. Be committed to what? Be committed to a better tomorrow for you, for all. Be kind. To whom? Be kind to everyone. Allow your contribution to the world around you to start with kindness, and the returns on your investment will grow. Traditionally, somewhere in my commencement speech, I'd like to remind everyone of this. It was a sunny day. Catherine Wagner, class of 2018, learned that from Mrs. Morris, one of her elementary school teachers, and I will continue to credit them both for that starter phrase. It was a sunny day, unlike Friday and Saturday. Over the years, I've had repetitive themes, recurring lines, and simple wisdom to share in my graduation speeches. I've also shared poetic pieces that I've written, some of these decades old. Last year's was written for the moment. It was titled The Virus. Last week, I sat down one night, drafted a poem for you, class of 2021. It's titled Perspectives of Gratitude. Perspectives of gratitude, easily taken for granted. Expectations of normalcy persist. Tomorrow, assumed to be like today, until it's not. Prospects change. A virus steals our breath. Known realities masked in doubt. Anxiety amplified by fears. Predictability replaced by uncertainty. In isolation, we struggle to unite. Connectivity by alternative paths, we find new peace alone. Plans are paused for an unknown length. Frustrations grow by day. Rules are questioned. Science is summoned. We awaken and wonder what's to come. Seeing it's not a dream, we find comfort in the pain. For new wisdom we gain. Perspectives of yesterday inform tomorrow, our strength growing from past sorrow. Together we move forward, guided by a better sense, grounded in purpose, we live once more, life with perspectives of gratitude. It's easy to be bitter until you count your blessings. We are lucky. Don't forget that. The very last thing I'll share with you today is my letter to the class of 2021. To the class of 2021, life's a journey. So incredibly cliche, I know. Nonetheless, it's true. Your experiences at Gettysburg Area High School were intentionally designed to prepare you for the latter legs of your journey. It's our job to create challenges and obstacles that become your opportunities for growth and development. School is a tool to help you prepare for whatever's next. Who could have foreseen the disruption, the obstacles, the challenges, the change? Your high school experience, hopefully just one leg of your life's journey, was infected by a pandemic that altered the course that you had envisioned all along. Normal hadn't been considered so closely until suddenly normal was gone. Many will note the expected experiences that were lost along the way. As your principal, these losses are not lost on me. Social events were traded for social distancing, smiles were literally masked, and the structures of schooling shifted dramatically. Despite it all, we continued to learn, even when lessons were distant or slightly unclear. Even with covered faces, we played, we performed, and often we succeeded. We remained here in the midst of a journey of knowns and unknowns. As lives were lost, we were reminded how incredibly blessed we are to simply be here. Remember that your presence is a gift. Be grateful for the opportunity for your journey to continue. With each new day, I urge you to be involved in making it better. The effort will sometimes come down to you, but will often involve those around you. Work for solutions and improve the day. You can be committed to the process of improvement throughout your journey. There will be no destination beyond your reach. Be kind to others along the way, and you'll find that your journey becomes that much brighter. Allow the perspectives that you have gained to triumph over the losses that have caused such pain. Be a warrior in every sense of the way, and make the most of the journey that remains. Know that we are all incredibly proud of you and wish you joy and success on the pathway ahead. And the very last thing I have to say to you is go Warriors.
Ayaka Sato, summa cum laude. Natalie Closter, summa cum laude. Connor Keller, summa cum laude. Ben Martin, summa cum laude. Sam Dowds, summa cum laude. Daniel Sauter, magna cum laude. Carly Fortner, magna cum laude. Presenting Carly's diploma is her mother, Ms. Mindy Bortner, James Geddes and Franklin Township Elementary gifted support teacher. Andrew Worthen, magna cum laude. Lily Crowner, magna cum laude. Marin Christ, magna cum laude. Zaya Palilis, magna cum laude. Kaylin Blocker, magna cum laude. Tess David, cum laude. Hunter Williams, cum laude. Zach Parr, cum laude. Maddie Yingling, cum laude. Alexander Patrick Amen, cum laude. Cassidy O'Soren, cum laude. Jenna Beatty, cum laude. Presenting Jenna's diploma is her grandfather, Mr. Carlos Wampler, former GAEHS administrator, athletic director, and former GASD school board director and president. Trey Goff, cum laude. Haley Sisney, cum laude. Megan E. Guy, cum laude. Presenting Megan's diploma is her mother, Mrs. Cheryl Guy, middle school librarian. Sydney Shelton, cum laude. Laura Bertram, cum laude. Alyssa Kimmel. Presenting Alyssa's diploma is Miss Christina Hall, personal assistant. Sabrina Aplenalp. Dylan Adrianto. Antonio Ambrose. Danny Aponte. Ethan Auer. Asher Baddock. Ashley Valentine. Giovanni Barrera. William Bastian. Cade Becerra. Hannah Beckett. Ian Bellinger. Emiliano Benitez. Brianna Blevins. Emily Boblitz. Elizabeth Bonner. Shirley Boone. Jacob Bordato. Cole Boudreau. Brian Bowie. Jenna Brazy. Presenting Jenna's diploma is her mother, Mrs. Angela Brazy, Franklin Township Administrative Assistant. Dylan Bratt. Shane Brockett. Paige Brown. Wiley Bucher. Zane Burson. Chris Bouchard. Dennis Cadigan. Harley Caliendo. Eric Carbajal. Lydia Castile. Yvette Solis. Liam Christensen. Emma Clark Mon. Presenting Emma's diploma is her stepfather, Officer Rich Kiefer, School Resource Officer for the district. Camden Cluck. Zach Kosha. Emily Cruz. Ethan Dalton. Madison Darnell. Presenting Madison's diploma is her mother, Mrs. Tricia Darnell, District Office Administrative Assistant. Emily De La Cruz. Montana DeLauder. Sophia Dettenburn. Eduardo Diaz Diaz. Elisandro Diaz. Katrina Fuller. Dwayne Dickerson. Devin Ditch. Jennifer Draves. Madeline Eckert. Jake Fetro. Colby Forsyth. Caitlin Fortney. Tayshawn Foster. Claire Freeman. Jorge Gallegos Garcia. Valerie Garza. Oscar Gaunt. Brandon Gladfelter. Lizeth Gonzalez. Lindsay Goodnow. Max Gorley. Madison Green. Grant Gregory. Kendall Grossman. Kenneth Hanna. Madison Hanna. Seth Hassinger. Presenting Seth's diploma is his father, Mr. Kenneth Hassinger, board president, and his mother, Mrs. Dana Hassinger, middle school 6th grade teacher. Brandon Hurd. Andrew Wance. Brooklyn Hurd. Brianna Hernandez. Claudio Ivan Hernandez. Harley Hushard. Justin Hood. Abigail Hurst. Richard Jackson. Ashley Jacobs. Mason Jeffcoat. Virginia Jeffrey. Sitlali Jimenez. Kaylee Johnson. Contan Journey. Presenting Contan's diploma is his father, Mr. Thomas Journey, high school social studies teacher. Aiden Connie. Manuel Cadle Savoy. Gabe Keller. Rachel Keller. Mackenzie Kessler. Griffin Kibler. Jenna King. Peyton Kleinfelter. Nicole Kuntz. Lynn Marie Koslowski. Quentin Damian Hunter Kuhn. Harrison Scott Kuklinski. Connor Lambert. Bradley Lawson. Alexa Leandro. Derek Lentz. Lan Lian. Oscar Lopez Espinosa. Kylie Laura. Rhiannon Loudermilk. Joseph Mancuso. Kaylin Markle. Alberto Martinez. Sitlali Martinez. Cole Mathis. Annie McCready. Austin McDaniel. Elijah McDermott. Owen McCain. Tristan McKenzie. Madison McMullen. Alexander Meckley. Sergio Medina Vasquez. Miguel Mendez. Tasha Marine. Alan Machua. Madison Miller. London Mincy. Chris Mosley. Marshall Mott. Justin Musselman. Logan Nagel. Mason Nass. Harry Nelson. Ethan Nichols. Caitlin Norrie. Antonio O'Connor. Nivy Ortiz. Chloe Ott. Matthew Pater. Riley Payne. Ruger Pennington. Ashley Pericles. Kaya Peterson. Faith Pigeon. Levon Plaza. Caroline Powell. Maria Powell. Elena Pritt. Aiden Pros. Cameron Robette. Allison Ramirez. Carlos Ramirez. Andrew Raymond. Tristan Reaver. Shane Reed. Cody Rex Roth. Alexis Reynolds. Nathan Ridgely. Cameron Robinson. Brett Roba. Eric Rohrbach. Catherine Salamo. Emmanuel Salinas. Damian Sanders Simmers. Noah Sanders. Presenting Noah's diploma is his mother, Ms. Alicia Sanders, middle school 8th grade social studies teacher. Alex Santana. Aurelia Santoyo. Jordan Shackle. Michaela Schaefer. Samantha Schaefer. Megan Shank. Ethan Shearer. Shakaya Shelton. Olivia Sika. Jacob Simpson Trossel. Bella Smith. Colin Smith. Presenting Colin's diploma is his mother, Mrs. Sharon Smith, Lincoln Elementary Reading Specialist. Greta Smith. Whitney Smith. Isaiah Stanton. Nathaniel Stout.
Thank you.
Bryn Stogdale. Trinity Strine. Joshua Stahl. Lizzie Sutherland. J. Marcus Tassin. Caitlin Then. Haley Terreo. Jared Townsend. Breslin Ercuyo. Kennedy Varner. Aaron Vasquez. Scarlett Vasquez Vega. Justin Waybright. Kayla West. Autumn White. Gunnar Wilson. Bailey Warner. Blake Woodward. McKenna Ray. Corinne Jessica Zaraga. Chelsea June Zimmon. Cody Zinn. Caleb Zinn. Owen C. Thomas. Allison Dunlap. Rocio Hernandez Hinojosa.
At this time, the president of our Board of Education, Mr. Hassinger, will place the academic medallion on the school flag. Will the Gettysburg Area High School's class of 2021 please rise? In accordance with the standards of the Pennsylvania Department of Education and the policies and regulations of the Gettysburg Area Board of School Directors, and by the authority vested in me by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, it is my honor and pleasure to declare the 135th class of Gettysburg Area High School graduates. You may now move your tassel to the left. Congratulations.
Yep, got all your stuff.